Previously on Talking Joe.
The fuse on that grenade was about 1 million seconds long. Because it's been thrown into the cab, he's got it out, he's run around, he's put it under a door, he's looking around. It must be about 10 seconds before that thing's gone off.
Exactly. Do you remember that bit from Batman the movie with Adam West where he's running around
on the
with
dock?
a bomb? Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Incredible.
Talking Joe is on the air, and here are your hosts, Chief and Mark.
Hey, diddly do. It's me, the Chief Doggaroo, joined by you.
It's Cobra Mark.
Yes. Why Cobra Mark? Just because.
Like Cobra la.
Got it. Chief is slow on the uptake today, and as we'll learn during this episode, woefully underprepared and ill-equipped to be co-hosting any kind of podcast, let alone one as amazing as this. That being said, how have you been, my friend? What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been a week. We've had things going on. Why not? So I had my boy's birthday. So he turned 9. Yep. Got some good toys from me. So that was a bit of fun, and seeing his reaction to those, that was good. He got a Mandalorian, did he? No, that's for Christmas. That's for Christmas. We're saving it up for Christmas. Does he listen? He's not now.
He knows what he's getting. No, what did he get? You got him a...
He got... what did he get? He got a Punisher.
That's right, the Punisher, yeah.
The Marvel Legends version of
you
that.
You got the one on the bike, didn't you?
That's right, with the cool bike and whatnot. And he got the Winter Soldier from that as well. And,
nice. I've seen that Winter Soldier figure. Looks pretty good.
Yup.
Have you got the Joe? You got Duke on that bike yet?
He's probably been on there at some point. Yeah. Nice. They're away in his room now, just having adventures. So
good stuff.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I was a bit late to the pod to record today because I'm in the middle of making a garlic bread, of all things. So this garlic bread has got 20 cloves of garlic. So watch out if you're in Chief's vicinity tomorrow.
A lot of garlic.
No, I won't be there. I'm working from home. So actually, I'll take the kid to school. So them teachers better watch out. Because although the kid likes garlic bread, so she's going to have some tonight. But yeah, so that is now needed. It's proving. And then as soon as we finish recording here, I'll pop down, roast that garlic off, stick it in there, and the dough, put it in the oven. Very good. The missus made some chocolate chip and coconut cookies this morning, which are very nice. She's now busy making a cottage pie. So, yeah, lots of baking and cooking going on in Castle Chief this week.
Chief's Bakery. And what I noticed this week is there was a bit of a landmark reached over on the Outer Timers Instagram. Ben announced that he had reached the 200 film target.
Yes, if you are a follower or were a follower of the one of the top 2 podcasts on the planet, the Outer Timers, then you would have remembered way back in the beginning of the year, Chief set a challenge to watch 200 movies in a calendar year. You cannot watch the same film twice. You can watch films you've watched before, etc., etc. And Ben, when we were still going strong on like episode 15 of Outer Timers, or even before that, episode 10, I posted a comment and he sent me this the other day where I said, we're going to probably hit over 250 in this calendar year. And that clearly did not happen because when the Outer Timers finished, the Chief just stopped watching movies. I am on 141 and he, like you said, has just eclipsed the 200 mark. So he surged way ahead. I put some graphs up about our trends and mine is trending down now where his has kind of gone over the target. But
he's still got time to get to 250 for sure.
He's got time, but what he said the Chief ruined film watching for him because all he saw in his head was a number. He's like, I have to now watch a film just so I can tick another one off this list of getting to 200, even if he didn't want to watch a movie that night. So I ruined films for him, which is, not ideal. But I always ruin hobbies for people. He says I ruined Scalextrics for him, and now I've got him on this action figure collecting hobby, and I'm ruining that for him. So, Chief destroys hobbies. That's kind of the way it goes.
It's the new segment.
Which hobby will Chief destroy next for people? But good stuff. Speaking of those hobbies, of course it's time for some action figure fiascos. Action figures, we all love them. Action figures, oh yeah, They bring us joy in our daily lives.
Bring us joy.
Action figures,
Yeah.
evoking memories from our childhood. But now we're grown and we just can't stop. Buying plastic till our wallets pop. When will it end? Who can say? 'Cause action figures are part of our DNA. Some people say maybe we've gone a little wacko, but action figures bring us joy like a rainbow. They are so hot like a splash of Tabasco. Now it's time for action figure fiasco. Now it's time for action figure fiasco. Would it be fiascos or would it be fiasco? Probably don't need to
Fiascos,
pluralise
I don't
it
know.
here.
Why not? Who's judging?
Well, many fiascos in Chief's life. Now, I've sent you some pictures. As always, I try and include a Joe in this, and as I've just received Wave 2, this segment with a Joe in at least will go on a little bit longer. I'm paired up with a Black Series Styles Black Series figure this week. The Joe, let me just get it out of the cabinet. Last week we had a couple of baddies. We had Cobra Commander, Supreme Commander, and Dr. Doom, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, that's
This
right.
week-
Yep.
This week we've got a couple of deadly females on the list. So the first is the Classified Scarlet, and this will all be 6-inch figures. If this is your first episode listening, I don't go any for any of that 3.75 malarkey. So when I saw all the images online of this Scarlet Classified when they first released it, I was like, holy moly, this figure is incredible. Now, and I think you might disagree with me here, I'm not overly happy with the figure.
Oh, hush. Okay. Why's that?
Very loose head, midriff. My arms are the arms are okay actually, but this is another problem that I'm finding with a lot of these Joes, these floating belts. So the belt, which it's got a pouch, it doesn't actually hold any weapons, but it doesn't sit round her waist, it kind of floats up around her boobs. Same with yours?
Well, yeah, I guess you can push it down and try and secure it
Yeah.
in place a bit more, but yeah, I mean, it is loose, isn't it?
And also
Does
the
move
one
about.
that goes around her torso with the
strap with the
bolts, and then the knife holder and the nice satisfactory. That knife slips in really nice and kind of really firm. Almost get a little click as it goes in. I like that.
Yep. I
But-
think it's funny that they've got those two knives in the backpack on the back, and on the front they think, what else would be really good to stick on there? Another knife. So
Two knives on the back.
Yeah, she's got two knives up in her backpack, in the top of her backpack, and then
Where?
one on her front.
Oh, I've got a hold in the two knives. You're saying they slip in there?
Yeah.
Oh.
They've got the holes in the top of the backpack.
Oh,
for her-
well, you say top. I've turned mine the other way around. That's the bottom
right,
for me.
okay.
I
Yeah.
have the bolts facing up, diagonal
Facing
up,
Mm-hmm.
because it looked a bit weird with them facing diagonal down.
Yeah, I tried it that way around, but it didn't seem to fit to sort of sit quite.
Ah,
quite as
maybe
well.
that's why mine's all loosey-goosey.
Could be.
Okay, fine. Let's look at... but my biggest complaint of the whole figure is the face.
Oh, really?
In terms of, she's got the 1,000-yard stare. She's just dead behind the eyes. It's just no. I don't know. I think the paint job's good. You know, it's a good sculpt, really good sculpt. It's just the eyes. It's just, is she smiling? Is she? Well, I don't know. What emotion has she got on her face
I
there?
don't know. It's enigmatic.
It's just.
But yeah, I think the eyes can often be the thing, a sort
Yes.
of something that
the make or
can
break.
vary. Yeah, well, it can make and break, but also can vary between figure. You know, the same
really?
figure, because it's it's an application, and if
Yes.
they're just ever so slightly out when they're applying it,
You
can
could be right.
have
You
a
could
bit
be
of
right.
an
And
effect.
yeah, really nice ankle rockers here, so you can get her into some great sort of low down crouched ninja style poses. Nice double jointed knee, and that knee pad kind of hides the join, so you can really get her crouching without it looking too exposed behind the knee pad. The articulation is nice on here. You know, I like the gloves. The
Did you spot on the inside of her left wrist?
inside left wrist. No, what am I looking at here?
Throwing stars. 3 throwing stars, just like the OG figure.
Oh, on the outside of the gauntlet.
Oh, I've got it as the inside. It must be that you've turned yours around the other way.
Okay, you've got it as the inside, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
again, that's how mine came. Mine came with that posed on the outside, but I bought mine second hand. So whoever had been using it had obviously turned it. So the throwing stars, right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh well, I don't claim to know which way is actually the right way now that you've said that.
No. Well, is there a right? Is there? I'm looking at the sculpt of that forearm, and is it?
I suspect that actually the looking at it again, it's mirroring the right. So I think actually the stars are on the outside, not on the inside.
Ah, there we go. We're learning. We're continuously learning on Talking Joe. All right, so I'll turn that one round. Right, okay, I see what you've done. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, and I think that the glove kind of matches. If you look at the other side, the right hand side,
exactly. Yeah,
the gold kind of app on the glove kind of filters down to that gauntlet on the wrist.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But the paint apps are pretty much good. I love that star on the shoulder pad. Initially, where I said with Duke, I was okay with the kind of the gold and the metallic shin guards and all that kind of stuff. When I got the Scarlet, I was like, no, in the flesh, this is too garish around the knee and the lower leg. Didn't like it, but now I'm kind of holding it and playing with it. It's okay. I actually come around to it now. I've come around to the kind of over-coloured lower portion of the leg. Really loose waist, like the Snake Eyes one, and the face. But speaking to you now, I think I'm a bit more love has grown into the figure now. Just the posability of it is really, really good. I'm just getting into some great poses. Shame about that face where she cares about nothing. Okay, let's move on. I've not had the crossbow. I've not had her having the crossbow yet. I've only had her holding the knives. So
yeah, the crossbow has a tendency of falling apart a bit. So one of those accessories that probably could benefit from a dab of glue.
Okay, all right, let's move on. The next figure is Sabine Wren from the Star Wars Black series. Now,
very good. From
Rebels. I watched season 1 of Rebels and didn't really dig it, so didn't bother watching anymore. But this figure is pretty cool. Got it reduced box damage, which was minor from Forbidden Planet. They knocked £5 off, so I got it for 15 quid. So why not? And I'm kind of collecting a Mandalorian helmeted crew. So I've got the Beskar Mando, I've got the heavy Mando, I've got Boba Fett, and now because Sabine comes with a Mandalorian helmet, I thought I'd better get her. Comes with dual wielding pistols, trigger finger on both hands, and then she also comes with double holsters, and she comes with some kind of communicator thing which I appear to have lost. I thought it was in a holster, but it's not. And on the helmet, what is that bit? It's almost like an antenna thing.
Yeah, it's the sort of I think in the films and whatnot, it comes down, doesn't it, as like a bit of a viewfinder.
Oh yes, it does. It does it on this figure as well. Cool. And this is the face printing technology they're using now on these Star Wars Black Series figures, which means you get a really good. This is how you do, a good facial figure as opposed to the Scarlet one. But I would say that the Scarlet figure, this is a problem that's been labelled at, and I'm no expert, it's been labelled at, especially Marvel Legends, their female characters, just the articulation and the leanness of the figures has been way off. And now this is almost too thin, the arms are very spindly, whereas the Scarlet one has a bit more heft to her. So a bit more weight around the legs and the arms, makes her look pretty mean. Whereas this Sabine, I know Sabine's supposed to be quite young, but maybe a bit too slender. However, the paint apps on the chest piece, the checkered shoulder pad there, the kind of whatever the symbol is on the other shoulder guard is kind of a bit of dirt and muck on it, speckled on the boots. The more, again, this is what I'm finding. The problem is I've got too many of these figures I'm buying, so I open them up, pose them with a weapon and put them in the display cabinet. And that's it. But now I'm playing with the figure just for these few minutes talking to you, and I'm getting so much more appreciation for it just by having a little play and mess around with it. So don't put your figures in the display cabinet and lock them away, people. They're toys. They're there to be played with. Get them out. But yeah, great figure.
Very
Recommend
good.
her.
Yeah, and I'd say give Rebels a chance. I think it's one of those series that gets better as it goes along.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I felt the same the first time I was watching Series 1. That was a little bit dismissive, but as I progressed through the episodes all the way through to the end, it does sort of build, and it does feel a little bit more weighty, and a bit more substance and a bit more skill to the animation as well. So yeah, I'd say don't write it off.
All right, good stuff. Sabine Wren, quality figure here, so pick her up if you can. But these Black Series ones are getting hard to find. It's like I was chatting to Ben. He's like, right, I really want the Ahsoka. And I think she's either out or only just come out or on pre-order, and you pretty much can't get hold of her anywhere already. And she's like I say, either on pre-order or only been out for a month or so, and stock is almost impossible to get. Hopefully not the scalpers. Hopefully just a lack of production. But there you go. More action figure fiasco next week. But right now it's time for Comic Talk. Comic Talk. Oh, Comic Talk. Barry Hammer writes them, Chief and Mark discuss them. Whoa, Comic Talk. Oh, Comic Talk. Barry Hammer writes them, Chief and Mark discuss them. Whoa. Okay, this week we are covering 237 and 238. We're kind of going to rank this as a 5-part storyline, and we'll do the other 3 parts next week. But right now, okay, we're going to look at covers.
Favorite cover.
Right, so again, we're just back to the 2 covers now, the regular and the John Royal subscription. Where is your money going of these 4 covers we've got on display here?
So if I was to put my money down, I would say actually the John Royal, I think. So
which one?
Oh, so we've actually, it's worth noting that the John Royal covers are interconnecting. Yep. So 237, 238 and 239 actually do make a larger image.
Right, and, didn't know that.
Oh, so yeah, it's a choice between CoverGirl and Snake Eyes, or Scarlet with Outback in there, and let's go Scarlet. Got a bit of a soft spot.
So you're going
Scarlet,
for this 238, yep.
Yep.
Right, yes, I've got the image. I've got it up now. So she's that's the centre image. Yeah, pretty striking stuff. Again, it doesn't relate to anything that's going on storyline-wise, but as a 3 pieces together, that's a good one. Colours really nice on those John Royal covers. So who's doing it's colours by James or Freddie? Not familiar with James, but you're doing good work there, sir. I actually quite like. I like all the 4 covers here this week, but I do like the 237 Gallant cover. Zartan, just like his pose. I like the fact that his offhand, his right hand is kind of on the flat of the blade, and then you've got all these toys in the background. I was going to get you to, can Mark name the toys, but I did no research to know if you were going to guess them correct or not. So unless you know who they are and want to guess them. So
there's Dinosaur Thing.
Yes.
Then there's a Transformers whatnot.
I think that might be Wheeljack. That's my only contribution.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wheeljack. Then I'm guessing the red thing is like a GoBot or something along those lines. Then there's a weird, who knows what, clam monster thing.
Bottom left, you're saying?
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you who that reminded me of. That reminded me a little bit of the creature from Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
It
One
serves
of your
no purpose in the storyline of the movie. He's just there and he kidnaps Kim Cattrall and then just ends up on the back of Jack Burton's truck at the end.
Yeah,
weird.
And he's on sale at $675 as well. So
yeah, he is not cheap.
Then we've got a E.T. brain thing.
Yeah, and he's got a phone in his hand. Very nice.
Yeah, and a yellow goodness as well. Teletubby thing. Yeah,
weird. But no, and Dawn in the background as well, kind of stalking.
That's right, stalking
Zartan. But look at the size of it. She's only just bigger than that big Teletubby thing. So look at the size of these things. And there's you missed out the big giant eye thing.
Yeah.
But anyway. I like that cover. Bit of fun.
Yeah,
I think,
it is a bit of fun.
Kind of stuff that happens in the storyline as well. So, yeah. But if you're not familiar with what's going on, here is, they've started calling it a sit rep in the comic, but here is last time on A Real American Hero. Razor-sharp shrapnel and twisted armour litter the desert floor as Alpine Torpedo and Tunnel Rat unexpectedly join forces with Layla to rescue Bombstrike from the nefarious clutches of Black Major. Meanwhile, Stalker, Storm Shadow and Zap take down Red Laser and his secret blue ninja hive mind weapon with some airborne ballistic subterfuge of their own, courtesy of Ace, in the land of a million elephants. All this while Zartan continues his search for the mysterious ninja girl called Dawn. I'm not sure who's writing those, but not the best grammar this week, I'm afraid. Interiors, obviously we've got Larry writing both these. We've got S.L. Gallant on art. We've got Brian Shearer on inks and Jay Brown on colours. So
long-running team.
Long-running team, great team. So let's, for those that are not reading the issues, let's fill some people in on what's happening.
Plot breakdown.
So, over in New York's East Village, there's a mysterious man who comes into Granny's shop to sell a sword, the blade known as Morning Light. Granny immediately clocks that this is a copy, Evening Shade, and the owner must therefore be Zartan. There's a scuffle that ensues. The Sword of Judgment plastic toy is deployed by Granny, but Zartan is younger and stronger. That's the explanation in the comic anyway. And brings her down with the flattened edge of the sword. Dawn runs to the back room and pulls up the floorboards to get Morning Light. Zartan is able to induce a flashback back to Nam and the time that Snake Eyes is shot down and rescued by Storm Shadow, and then to the moment that the Hardmaster was shot during the Cloak of Chameleon. Zartan explains that he has had an epiphany and a penance and would like to warn Dawn of the danger from Cobra. But all doesn't go according to plan. Dawn's eyes glow red and she runs through him with the sword. Schlip! Granny saves Zartan, but Dawn vanishes with the two swords and her new fighting togs, which I'm guessing we shall see later. Storm Shadow and the new Snake Eyes appear. Storm Shadow says that before, Dawn had a dormant memory, but now it has been awakened, and a remorseless revenant is in its place, and there will be no stopping it!
Yeah, it's all going down there. That takes up, I would say, most of at least this first issue, doesn't it, of that storyline?
Yeah, but, definitely.
There's Joe action elsewhere. It's in Transcarpathia. It's in Darklonia, to be precise. We've got a Joe team, which is, I think it's Roadblock, Lady J, Flint, Spirit and Sneak Peek. They're on a Tomahawk and they're going in. It's one of these kind of standard support missions. Well, as I say standard, we've done a lot of recon lately, but now they're actually in a support role. They're going to meet up with the Darklonian resistance and offer some support in their cause. There's a mysterious leader, Werewolf 1, which actually turns out to be Katia, I think, which is the woman that Sneak Peek was a bit sweet on when he was over there. We get Joe action. Roadblock especially opens up on some Cobras, and the ones he's opening up on is some nice cameos by the Cobra hydrofoils that they come out, and yeah, just kind of setting up stuff to come, especially with Katia as a bit of a callback. So good stuff over there.
Cool. And then the third subplot is over in Springfield. So Wade Collins and his wife have been uncovered and they're under fire following a tip-off from their neighbours. The daughter Heather is out shopping and sneaks up on the neighbours. Let's keep smiling and a jawn inside, shall we? Whereas Dawn is on her way to Springfield and she's dreaming on a Greyhound bus and has a flashback to the Obon Festival that was mentioned in the previous arc. A younger demon Granny is out with Snake Eyes. The Tenchu Raiden clan attack Granny for teaching the secret Arashikage techniques to foreigners. We find out how Granny got her scar that Dawn had previously recognised, and when Dawn wakes up from her bad dream, she is on that bus headed to Springfield. Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes and Zartan are on a road trip. On her tail, they discuss the darkness that is within Snake Eyes, who had wiped out those Tenchu Raiden single-handedly. And then cut to Cobra Commander, also in Springfield. He complains that he had enough of Destro, pushing his own agenda and wants to strike while Baroness and Zartan are otherwise engaged. Destro is called to Cobra Commander's throne room, only for him to be locked in the chair, his Iron Grenadiers shot by bats. But before he can do anything, Cobra Commander is surprised by Destro's Go-Go Gadget arms. He turns the tables and is released.
Go-Go Gadget arms!
We must do this again sometime.
Hey, he's turning tables a la Bomb Strike.
Yeah, those ninja turning table skills are sort of going all around the place here.
Yeah. So let's dig into the meat of these subplots.
Talking points.
Right, okay, we might as well take the first one, or take them as they come. So, like I said earlier, the East Village stuff takes up the bulk of what's going on here, and there's a bit of tete-a-tete between Granny and a mysterious guy who's got a sword, and obviously it turns out to be Zartan. A big fight ensues. Now, I've written only a couple of bits of thing here. As usual, your notes will be much more thorough than mine. I've written sword mayhem ? I got no idea what's going on with this sword stuff.
Yeah, it's entirely confusing and going on a little bit too long. I don't know how much the audience would have been enjoying the morning light, evening shade plot here. And actually, I've in the last week I read the Storm Shadow Devil's Due series.
The one I said I was going to read and didn't. Yes, go on.
Probably that one, yeah. And actually reading it, this whole story does make a bit more sense because it is very concentrated on evening shade, morning light, and that's where the concepts I think are first introduced. So right. I think Larry assuming that everyone had that knowledge going into this series was probably a bit of a leap.
Okay, I might read that. I put that in my custom bind in the front of my first IDW custom bind.
Okay.
So I put it effectively, having finished 155 in the Marvel one, going on to before 155.5, I actually put that 1 to 7 in.
Okay, that's actually, in hindsight, a fairly respectable place to put it.
I was completely guessing. I had no idea, obviously, but the fact that it was just another Harmer story that kind of seemed to be the same continuity, although I wasn't sure if it was, I just put it in there. But like you say, I kind of got lucky. But I've actually got 3 points, within this little storyline bit. The first is, did we really need another flashback to Tommy saving Snake Eyes? I don't know.
It's been done.
We've read it a lot. I don't think we really needed that. I guess they're doing it from the point of view. Everything's from POV of Snake Eyes, who is now embedded in Dawn, I suppose.
Yeah, so it's Dawn.
But then that carries on to the death of the Hardmaster again. So it's more flashbacks. So, but that wasn't really okay. Fine, it is what it is. But two other questions, or two main questions, are: is Snake Eyes evil? Because when Zartan, who I thought had come initially to kill Dawn, or at least he alludes that to the Cobra hierarchy, that he's now going to hunt her down and stop her. We find out in 238 when he's chatting to Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes 2 that it's an intervention. He's trying to either separate the Snake Eyes entity from Dawn's body, or some kind of intervention. But he... So when he approaches Dawn, he says, I had an epiphany after I killed the Blind Master. I did my penance, and then I came to an understanding with Storm Shadow. But I didn't understand this bit. You have to work something out with me. Cobra knows where you are now. Your life here with Granny is over. There is no escape. So is that him? Is that him actually turning a corner of good again and trying to save her?
Well, yeah, I think it does seem to be a misguided attempt from Zartan to help Dawn, but right. Quite why him trying to awaken those memories in her is necessarily going to do that, I don't know.
Because all that happens is she gets the glowing red eyes of Darkseid and stabs him through the chest with a sword.
Exactly. And the other confusing element about that was that, Cobra Command didn't actually seem that bothered about Dawn, and it was only Zartan previously that was trying to convince Cobra Commander and co that Dawn was the threat that needs to be squashed before she's forged into an unstoppable weapon. So it seems like he's playing both sides here in a quite a weird way.
Okay, and a quick question here with regards to that panel where she has stabbed him with the sword. That is, I guess we're led to believe that is more Dawn than Snake Eyes, or because, I don't know, or maybe Snake Eyes just wanted Zartan dead, going back all the way from when he killed the Hardmaster. Maybe that is Snake Eyes seeking revenge, and that is the prominent, overpowering or dueling identities that's caused there. But we know that if this character, whether it be Dawn or Snake Eyes, wanted Zartan dead, that sword strike would have gone through the heart. And we've seen it before where I think Snake Eyes... Who was it? Was it Snake
Scarlet.
Eyes strikes Scarlet, or the other way around?
Snake Eyes strikes Scarlet, that's right.
And it's a precision strike that meant to look like he was trying to kill her, but clearly left her alive. And that must be the same thing here, because next thing we know, Zartan's running around in the next issue.
Well, yeah, he got better, didn't he?
He got better ASAP.
Yeah. And saved by Demon Granny, and this might have not been something you picked up on, but Demon Granny is the Hardmaster's widow.
Ah, yes.
So her saving Zartan is like a kind of an extra level there of
extra level of Mother Teresa there,
and redemption there. So So
I think I'm going to go for a no prize. I think Dawn wanted to kill Zartan because she's fearing for her life. Dawn's attacking her. Zartan's attacking her, so she's like self-defense. But as Snake Eyes was able to assert enough control at the last moment to make the sword strike a non-lethal one.
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
There you go.
Prize on his way.
You probably spotted the Larry Hamarism.
Yeah. So should we go for it? So it's there was two Larry Hammerisms.
Oh, was there?
Well, one of them, the first one was the brick in the purse coming out again with which is a character trait just as much as a Hammerism. And reading Storm Shadow series, that makes more sense as well, that Demon Granny's family made their money in the production of bricks. So she's got an affinity for bricks. But let's go for everybody's favourite Hammerism, which is the sucking chest wound. Making, on my count, the 8th appearance in the post 155 run. So, they say, sucking chest wound, I'll seal it up with this cellophane wrapper. We need 2 dressings.
Yeah. So it's a deep one, but then we might as well, and that's actually where he gets admitted to hospital. That's kind of the end of issue 237. So that was all that the plot had contained in that whole issue. But go into 238. Let's just wrap up the Zartan Dawn stuff. Then we'll talk about the other storylines. So next time we see Zartan, he is in the truck, isn't he, with Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes?
Yeah, safely recovered from his own sucking chest wound.
Yeah, pink fluffy dice. Before we get to that, though, there's Granny and she's referenced this, I think, either in the last issue or a few issues before. She references the Obon Festival.
That's right. Yeah, so that's part of the flashback that Dawn has in when she's on the coach, and so we find out exactly what happened then.
And there was a bit here. So true, the Abake Abasani, the Arashikages, are teaching their secret techniques to foreigners, right? So there's a rival kind of sect of the the Tenchu Raiden clan, They've come in and they're not happy with the Arashikage teaching to foreigners, so they've put a big throwdown on Granny. She's managed to take a few out, but
then Snake Eyes lets loose.
Yeah, he goes full rogue and does a massacre on them.
Exactly, he does an Anakin.
yeah, he does. He does an Anakin on the Tusken Raiders, man.
Yeah,
good shout, good comparison. And
but it's nice to see that another clan there with that quite cool demon-headed design.
Yeah, that quality.
I don't know if we'll see them come back into the series or not, given that Snake Eyes seem to have massacred the entire clan. But you never know.
And I like the fact when he comes back, he's all bedraggled, but he's got his shades on. He did it with sunglasses on.
He did. Why not? He wears sunglasses at night.
That's it. And so we're waiting to see. Oh, Granny's with them as well, of course, with Zartan and Storm Shadow, and we're waiting to see what this intervention or how they're going to try and separate Snake Eyes from Dawn. So who is now, as Tommy mentions, a remorseless blood frenzy that seemed unstoppable. So how they're going to stop him, I don't know.
No, indeed. But there's some loose slips in that minivan or whatever it is that they're in, right, when they're tracking Dawn, because Zartan lets slip that he knows that we have a new Snake Eyes, and he's actually called Sean in front of Zartan. So not very good discipline there, given what they went through to actually create his new identity just a few issues earlier.
Yes, he is not thinking with his head, thinking with his heart. So unlucky. I don't know if that will come back to pay, but we'll find out, I guess, or we won't find out, as in true G.I. Joe fashion. But are you I think I said this last time. Are you happy with the way this Dawn stuff is progressing, or is it too much ninja? Is it? I don't know. This dueling identity is quite interesting to a degree if you can suspend your disbelief that someone's memories and personality are residing in someone else's head. Then there's kind of intrigue there, but I don't know. I'm just not on board. I don't think fully.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with this one. We'll see how it all pans out. There's some elements which are a little bit make you go, but yeah, let's see where they go. I think the bit that's galled me a little bit more about these two issues was that last little crowbarred bit where Cobra Commander locked up Destro in the manacles and tried to kill him again, and you think, honestly, can't you just quit on this? Yeah. And Destro must just be so bored of Cobra Commander constantly trying to kill him.
All right, let's go to the Springfield stuff then next. So, like you say, we've got a couple of things going on here. The Collins family is under siege in their house, and there's on the second page where it says in Springfield. Okay, on the next page across, love that shot of the Toxo Viper chucking that grenade. He says this should suppress their fire. Just a really cool panel of that Toxo Viper kind of throwing that grenade towards them.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. I was actually going to say, in terms of the art, I think there was some interesting stuff going on in the previous ninja stuff, which was that actually where Gallant was adopting a lot of the traits of the typical kind of manga fighting action, where there's a lot of speed lines, sort of all concentrating in on the centre of the action. So a lot of his backgrounds were a lot more simplified, and just with those manga-esque
the motion
lines.
Stuff.
So interesting stylistic choice to try and kind of echo what's going on in the story. But really fun.
And that kind of is a nice comparison to what we see in the Springfield, because on these pages, you've got hundreds of these Cobra Troopers, Vipers, not hundreds obviously, but loads of detailed stuff going on, and he's kind of cramming in all the details here.
Yeah, absolutely. Those Vipers like stuck on the top of the garage or whatever it is, the shed.
The guy's splayed legs down, propped up.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
What is Techno Viper, whatever it is. Yeah, good stuff. Meanwhile, the neighbours are sipping champagne.
it's a little show for them, isn't it? It's like, look what's going on next door.
Yeah, but Heather does. Heather pops up. And she's going to be a force or a fly in the ointment, so to speak. And, they mention her tech skills again, I think, do they? Which I think you mentioned.
That's right. She'd set up some nasty surprises for when the Cobras are going to try and crack into her computers once they get in. That was going
to be spoilers for later, although it's not really spoilers. When we hit favourite dialogue, it was going to be the bit where she says they'll get a nastier surprise when they open the refrigerator. Too bad I can't stick around to see the fun, because I wanted to know what was in there, but that's been usurped by another bit of dialogue that I found.
Okay.
Anyway, and that's kind of it. You kind of only get those 3 pages of what's going on, but we now know that the Collins are going to be held hostage. Heather's on the loose, though, so what fun can she get up to? But the other part of Springfield is the one you mentioned, which you're kind of getting bored with, and so am I, of Cobra Commander. He's had enough of Destro, so he's going to try and off him again. Destro comes in to see the Commander. He's got a couple of Iron Grenadiers with him. They get mowed down. Destro's in a chair, and Cobra Commander hits a switch which kind of manacles Destro's arms to the chair. But out of nowhere, suddenly his hands shoot off, like you said, go Gadget style, and he puts them around. Does he get them around Cobra Commander's throat? He does, yes.
Yeah.
So how is he controlling these? Must be with his mind.
Must be. Can only be.
Unless there's some kind of Baroness has tapped into he's got some kind of heads-up display which is being broadcast back in where his base is, and Baroness has kind of remote control of his hands.
Yeah, or maybe he's got like sort of kind of Google goggle type affair where he's got a heads-up display in his vision, and he's able to control some of these things with
where he's looking.
His eyes. Yeah.
Yes. Or he's pre-programmed the hands to to recognise Cobra Commander's face.
Exactly.
Yeah. Many options there for a no prize.
He's got a pre-programmed routine expecting Cobra Commander to try and double-cross him once again, as he always does.
Now, do I remember Destro ever losing a hand?
He had them badly damaged in that sequence where where the castle fell on top of him and he was kind of propping it up with his
okay, but he's
hands.
opted for full double amputation here.
It looks like it, doesn't it?
I mean, when you turn that page, I'd forgotten. I think I had read this far? I don't know. I thought I hadn't read this far, but I think that record. No, I didn't. I don't think I did. So when I turned that page the other day and read that, I was just like, what the deuce is going on here? I mean, are you down with it or not?
No. Come on. You know.
No.
This
S-Jub7 is actually having a heart attack right now, I think.
Why is that? What's happened to S-Jobs?
No,
what's he looked
because
at?
How crap it's become. I mean, he jumped off because he got to the point where these issues are literally making him depressed. So when he gets to this one, I know he's still listening, but whether or not he's forcing himself to read the issues, but if you are reading these issues, S-Jub7, I mean, your head is in your hands right now, my friend, I'm betting.
Well, I think the Transcarpathia bit has got a little bit more military realism. And,
yes, let's go over to that then, because I think we've probably wrapped up that stuff. So this opens really nicely. This is the first couple of pages of the issue. Really nice tomahawk coming in low across the landscape. You've got Lift Ticket and Wild Bill there looking really cool. That third panel where it's kind of splashing through the water, love it. And then the flip over, great lighting here by Brown on the colours, kind of giving it that interior red light kind of danger, low covert style kind of feel. Really nice stuff. Yeah,
a nice sequence. I always like this kind of thing when they get to it. It's yeah.
We should have opened up with this subplot. If people are still with us, this is the good stuff. And look at those launching, those morays, hydrofoils launching, great.
Yeah, soft spot for those. Nice to see them make another appearance.
Yeah. And this is kind of, again, this is a bit of setup here. They're looking for this Werewolf 1 character, who I thought was the bearded dude, but it's actually Katya, isn't it?
Yeah, the bearded dude was Gross the Scrounger.
That's it.
As he introduces himself. How do you get a nickname like that, and how do you then completely own it?
Good squad as well. I like this team. I like this team of Lady J, Roadblock, Flint, Spirit, and Sneak Peek. I don't mind him. He's okay. But the other four, I like all those guys big time.
Yeah, always good to see those guys in actions, and it makes sense. Sneak Peek being there, given the role he'd played in that sort of subplot to date. Yep. So
and this is all kind of set up, which hopefully will play out in at least the next 3 issues when we kind of. We're gonna. I have read ahead the next 3 issues, so I'm happy to say that we can yo-jo those 5. But I think that's probably not the most intriguing, because Joe just going on a support mission isn't intriguing, but for me it's the best of the 3 that we've seen there. Yeah,
and there's some good old hammerisms in there as well, with them calling out the calibre of their weaponry being used as they're shooting. So we've got some 50 cal, some 5.66mm and some 9mm in there as well. So if you're just measuring as you're going along.
Yeah. So did you spot anything in these issues that was kind of placed maybe by the artist?
I spy with my little eye.
So I spotted a few things with my own little eye there. So they talked about the Diaclone sale in the shop. Does that resonate with you?
Diaclone? No.
So Diaclone was a toy line by Takara Toys that launched in 1980, and many of the toys were co-opted by Hasbro into the Transformers line. So the Autobot vehicle-based characters came from the car robots set of Diaclone robots. So something that is elaborated quite a lot in the toys that made us documentary on Transformers worth.
I've watched that. Obviously paid no attention to it.
And the other one there was the Sword of Judgment that Granny used to fight Zartan with. That is actually a sword as well. Any guesses where that might have come from?
No.
So that is Optimus Prime's personal blade from the movie Transformers: The Last Night.
Right, okay.
And
I don't know if I've seen that one. Probably a bag of shit.
And I had am I stupid as well, because looking at
normally
these,
that's me.
Looking at these issues, it was something that just didn't quite make sense to me, and it might be that I'm being stupid, or it might be that I'm entirely justified. But back in issue 217, Zartan tracked down Storm Shadow when he was at the ARAH encampment, and he gave Storm Shadow the blade Evening Shade, and I don't think there was any sequence where he got it back again. So how come he's got it now?
No idea. I am not the man to answer that. Have you thought about a no prize?
So the no prize could be that that scene concluded with Zartan trying to give it back to Storm Shadow, but then Storm Shadow refused his offer and said that Zartan had been forgiven and redeemed, and he was the best person to look after the sword and carry that responsibility with him as part of his ongoing penance.
Right. Okay, yeah. I'll buy it. I like it. In the post.
So he didn't accept it, and Zartan kept it after all.
Yep.
Or there could have just been something entirely plausible in the plot that I've just forgotten about.
A long time ago, 217. Yeah. Good stuff. Only 2 issues on display here, but did any piece of scripting stick out to you?
Favorite line of dialogue?
The one that stuck out for me, and I hope you haven't picked the same one, was Flint talking about the Darklonian resistance.
No,
he says,
no.
Sneak peek should know, he was undercover in Darklonia so long he almost went native. In fact, he did go native in a way, with the landlord's daughter no less.
Boom, boom. Yes, very good.
Flint.
Very good. My one is from one of the Tenchu Raiden clan.
Oh.
As they're about to lay the smackdown on Granny. I will dispatch the Gaijin dog to the realm of hungry ghosts myself, with my horse-killing sword. Yes. Good old, everyone needs a good old horse-killing sword.
Excellent, yes. Indeed.
Yes. Good stuff. Again, 2 issues, so less to choose from, but did anyone really tweak your bells? Who is the MVP? Most valuable person in these issues? Who is the MVP? Is it a Cobra Joe or the enemy? The good guys are the Joes now show counter-terrorist force, but hush, it's on the down low. Pages of this book, go have a look. We're searching for guys or gals that have the hook. The hook of being the best thing in the story, chomping up scenes, front and center allegory. And let's not forget about those cats named Cobra, sipping Dom Perignon. Are you sure they're sober? Brainwave Scanner is back, gonna be messing. Big CC and Destro teach a lesson. Talking valuable, can we talk the dreadnoughts, grape soda, chocolate donuts, and then the jukebox? Who is the MVP? Most valuable person in these issues? Who is the MVP? Is it a Cobra Joe or the enemy?
Well, I was thinking about who is sticking out here as my MVP, and I thought probably let's go Granny.
Okay.
So she had some good ham bagging action.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
And swinging that thing around like nobody's business, and also getting stuck in with that horse-killing sword fight with the raiders. So some good action there from Granny. So that she won my vote.
Good stuff. I am controversially and unexpectedly going for Destro.
Oh.
Just because he had the balls and audacity to cut off his hands and put 2 Go-Go Gadget hands on. And, well, maybe he's not the MVP. Maybe the MVP is, his Harold, the guy who makes all Batman stuff. Maybe he's got a Harold in a cave somewhere who tricks out his suit for him. So the MVP goes to Destro's Harold.
Yeah, and he's like, these things on the end of my arms, I have no need for them. And he's like, you sure, boss? You really want me to cut those off?
There you go. Right, we're not yo-joing the story arc as a whole, but we might as well give out some yo-joage just for what we've read here. I am going first, and Same old, same old. So I'm just coming in with a low 6.
Yeah, I think I'm about the same. A low 6. That yes, I'm still enjoying them. Still, some fun there to be had, but elements of this are a little bit annoying.
Yep. Okay, good stuff. More issues next week. Like I said, 239 to 241 will wrap up this storyline. But right now, we need to talk about toys, and you're the man to do it. Mark talks about toys, ho ho. He talks about G.I. Joe. He talks about all the toys from the comic book and the animated show. Mark talks about toys. Mark talks about toys.
So, Chief, out of these 2 issues, anything that appeared in there that you think, oh, that might be something that Mark would want to talk about?
I don't think we're doing anything with the Dawn one. There is no Go Gadget hand Destro figure as far as I'm aware. Can you imagine if they made that?
Crikey, yeah.
Anything in the Springfield thing? No. So let's go to Darklonia, and it could be the hydrofoil.
Oh, bing, 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 bing.
Yes.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let me send across some photos
Please
of
do.
this to you. So, what is your personal recollection or encountering with the hydrofoil?
Did not have it, and I don't think Ben had it, but I had a friend called Dan Sheerin, and Ben will remember him, and he had it. So that's another person that I did. I was trying to think. Oh, Ben was the only person that I knew that had Action Force, or G.I. Joe. But yeah, this other guy did. But I don't think we were friends long enough. We were friends for a long time, but not in the crossover of G.I. Joe toys. But he definitely had it, and I remember it being massive.
It was a huge
I don't know if that's
toy.
because I was as young and small, but yeah, I remember it being big. And did it have some kind of function where it could kind of the front of I don't want to make myself a fool by knowing what the bow or whatever is, but the front of the boat kind of almost lifted up so it could kind of skim through the water or something like that.
That's right. So there was a thing on the back of the boat as kind of a lever that you could pull, and that would flip up the hydrofoils on the bottom of the boat, which would then, I guess, function as as you'd expect a hydrofoil to kind of lift the boat out of the water and give it some extra speed for its attack.
Loads of weapons on this thing, man.
It is just geared to the max. There's on kind of the wings of the boat. There's these 2 torpedoes that you could take off and deploy. Just above them, there's these massive mounted guns, and just above those, there's then these 2 yellow missiles sort of mounted on the side of the boat, which attached with a small mounting that could actually get fairly easily broken off. And then above them, in the centre of the boat, there's that kind of that swivel chair with a mounted double barrel gun, and that's a very cool place to kind of position someone on the boat and have them kind of overlooking everything and laying down fire.
I'll tell you what I love as well.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to cut you off here because it's just drawn to my attention. Is that a secret gun in the middle, actually? In the very centre?
Yeah, in between the 2 kind of windows, there's another teeny tiny little gun as well, yeah.
Right, I just spotted that. But no, I'll tell you what I really love. And actually, I spotted another thing. Are those hatches, can you open them up and put people in the front there?
Yeah, that's right. So there's the kind of the 2 main seats, and then in front of those, there's those 2 hatches that lift up, and you can put further 2 people in each, one in each of
I keep spotting
those.
stuff. What I actually want to talk about is that cobra symbol, that emblem on the front. I don't think that's been reused anywhere else, has it? Is it just for the hydrofoil?
I can't recall it being used anywhere else, but it's a very cool logo.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
And then just in front of that sort of that secret gun, as you described it, there's a kind of a button almost,
yes.
A sort of thing sticking out, and you would press that down, and that would open up the top front of the boat to reveal a brace of missiles, which is actually, I think, what happens in the issues that we just read.
Yeah. Except they don't have to push a button.
They don't have to have someone with a massive thumb come down and press the button on it.
I like that spotter light.
Yeah.
I like that spotter light as well by the kind of the right seat.
That's a very cool
Spotlight.
detail, and
Nice.
it came originally, I believe, with a little bit of plastic, which was very easily lost, representing the lens. But yeah, just behind the spotlight as well, but in those sort of two compartments with the seats, there's the glass frontage to them, which is just a lovely little detail, just to sort of round off kind of that part of the front.
I'm looking at the back of the boat. I'm just looking at the picture you sent me. Is that a mounted gun on the back or is that a rail?
Yeah. So on the box art probably is the best way to see that. If you flick to that, the box art had torch wielding one of these. That there's four, two on either side. Sort of machine guns that are mounted to the back that could be grasped by a crew member, and I think there was pegs on the floor as well, so that you could actually put them in place and sort of shoot off the side of the boat. So another nice bit of armament, and then you can see Storm Shadow and Baroness on that box art. They're sort of opening up the depth charge compartment. So that was a little compartment you could lift up, and there would be these depth charges in there that would then drop out the back of the boat. So there's just so many sort of play features to the ship. It was pretty cool stuff.
This is now bringing back so many memories. I am going to put this in my top 3 all-time vehicles.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a really special vehicle out of that range, and like many, it was kind of quite close to the front of. It's that kind of golden age for the vehicles almost. It was, I think, 1985 release in the States. So I think
I'm on eBay right now. I'm on eBay right now looking for one.
I think the year after the Whale and so on. And then it had a very cool driver as well. So in Ben's toy box, he had the Dayglow orange Sonic Fighter version of the Lamprey vehicle driver. But in the original release, it was a kind of silver jumpsuit with blue detailing to it, and somewhat garish perhaps. But for me, I thought at the time it looked very stylish. He also had a kind of a nice little logo on the sleeve there, kind of a skull with a knife through it, and so the uniforms were described as très moderne by Cobra Commander in their original appearance in the Marvel comic book, and they have to train as eels for more than a year. And apparently it is quite tricky to become to be worthy of wearing that uniform.
Yep. Oh, I'm putting a bid on one.
Oh, crikey! Hold on. What did you say at the beginning of this episode about your collecting habits?
Oh, jeepers! Here you go. I'll tell you what. Here's one answer for our question that we're going to ask at the end of the show, at least. Anyway, stay tuned for that.
Oh, my word.
Find out. But let me get away from that and focus back on this. Yeah, great vehicle. Did you have it?
I had it when it came out in the UK. And got a lot of play from us. There was so much to that vehicle. Took up a lot of space, but definitely was a good purchase for us, because it was very much one of my favourites. I need to I think we should at some point sort of do a top 10 of our favourite toys, figures and vehicles at some point. That'd be a bit of fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be in my top 10 somewhere, but good. Yeah, I keep on saying things in my top 10, so it's probably quite a long top 10.
Good stuff as always. Right, what do we do now? Oh yeah, we do this.
You're listening to Talking Joe, and now for something completely different.
The Star Wars galaxy sure has a lot of playgrounds. Jedi Knights, evil Sith, bounty hunters, all doing the rounds. But there's a guy so cool The Mandalorian. Now expand your mind and be a Star Wars historian. It's 10-Minute Mando. He's chasing a star. It's 10-Minute Mando. He loves Beskar. It's 10-Minute Mando in a galaxy far, far away. So, 10-Minute Mando. This is Season 1, Episode 6, except, whoa, Chief forgot to watch the episode. So instead it's going to be 10-Minute Not Mando, and it's going to be 10-Minute Solo / Rogue One, because I did watch those this week.
I'm glad
they are,
I did.
I gave Mark about 5 minutes notice prior to recording as I was running down. Right, so what do? We do catch up, we do figure fiasco, we do this, we do toys, we do 10-Minute Mando. Oh shit, I forgot to watch it. So yes, you've had about 50 minutes to try and pull back all the memories of you watching those films. But yeah, so apologies anyone out there who's watched Mando episode 6 expecting for us to discuss it. That will be next week. We'll do 6 and 7 next week. But yeah, Solo and Rogue One, I don't know why I decided. I think Ben said, I'm going to watch Solo, and so I said, I'll watch it as well. And then he said, right, I'm going to watch Rogue One tonight. I was like, I might as well watch that as well. Now, I gave Solo, I'll just score them straight up front for you. I gave Solo 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, and I gave Rogue One 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, very good.
Really enjoyed Solo. It was loads of fun. I thought the guys, excuse me, I don't know the names. I thought the actors playing Solo and Lando were absolutely perfect. Played those characters exactly how I wanted them to be. All the scenes playing Sabak were great. Seeing Chewie in action, fantastic. You know, just everything. That train car robbery chase thing across the sky, fantastic set piece. Just really liked everything about it. I think the first time round, I wasn't too keen on Dryden Voss, Paul Bettany's character. I thought he was just a bit meh. But this time round, I actually kind of warmed to him a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think he's an interesting character. I think he was actually recast in once Ron Howard came in as the replacement director.
Ah, right.
So yeah, if you recall, like kind of the film was under a little bit of a kind of a cloud, because it was well into production when the original directors, the guys behind the Lego Movie,
yes,
and what else did they do? They did start the spot Into the Spider-Verse and that kind of stuff. And yeah, they had a bit of a falling out with their directorial vision versus the Star Wars mob, and then Ron Howard was brought in as a kind of safe pair of hands to kind of usher the story and the project through. So I was very nervous at the time, and thinking that this could be quite a calamity in terms of the what we actually see on screen. But yes, I was quite surprised by it, and actually did really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was really good fun. I thought that Daenerys was okay. She did what she needed to do. Loved the bit at the end where she calls up the hologram and has a little chat with Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, that was a nice little Easter egg that sort of came out of nowhere.
When is this set then? Because I guess this would have been, I don't know, because this young Solo, I mean, look, I can Google it and find out when it was set. I'm just trying to picture it in my head, because obviously in Phantom Menace, Maul gets cut in half and killed, but
that's right.
Spoilers, comes back later on in the Clone Wars animated. So, but in this, he's kind of on the hologram, he's kind of pictured full body before being cut in half.
Or I think it is full body after being cut in half.
Right. Okay, maybe I haven't got that far, because again, spoilers. I'm doing the Clone Wars rewatch, but I only ever, when I did it the first time round, got to the bit where he gets put on like spider legs.
Yeah, so eventually he does come back with more kind of human type appendages.
Okay.
So I think there's a little bit of lack of clarity exactly what period this relates to, but it's it would seem to be at some point during that later part of the Clone Wars.
Right.
Once Darth Maul has been come back to life again, and with some proper legs and etc. So it's not I don't think it's exactly pinpointed down as to the precise year and where it is, but some point during that era.
Okay. One thing, I think the biggest detractor for me, I love all the bit where Han's flying the Falcon, and then when they land on whatever that planet is, he says to someone, I just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs or whatever. All these little nods, really cool. And I actually got goosebumps when Han is in the pilot's seat and Chewie sits down beside him, and I was like, wow, that is just like, I don't know, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. It's just like such an iconic callback to those guys in New Hope and in Empire, where they're sitting together in the cockpit of the Falcon. Just loved it. But the only bit that really rankled me was that stupid droid.
Oh yes,
and the kind of the love thing with Lando is just weird and unnecessary. Any thoughts on that?
I get that. Yeah, I mean, sort of take it or leave it. There was some humoristic moments to it. Humoristic, is that a word?
Yeah, it is now. It is now.
Humorous moments. Sort of setting free all of the robot slaves or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, what they've done there is in trying to impart a lot of human characteristics, like you said, humanistic stuff and emotions into these seemingly lifeless droids. But I thought we'll segue here into this, because I thought they did a better job with the K2SO droid in Rogue One, where he's a little bit kind of sarcastic and has his own kind of agenda, but a much more kind of likeable character. Yeah,
really looking forward to any time that he was appearing on the screen. He was great.
Yes. Rogue One, I think this is only the third time I've watched it. Saw it in cinema, saw it again, maybe the fourth time. Saw it on DVD and then decided to watch it again. But I think it gets better every time I watch it. It just felt like a Star Wars movie. Whereas I had also watched, we're not going to discuss it, but I had also watched the night before Rise of Skywalker, which is only the second time I'd watched it since seeing it in the cinema a year ago. And just the only thing I'll say is there is absolutely zero need for anyone to ever watch that stupid Disney trilogy ever again. I can't picture where I would ever watch episodes 7, 8 or 9 ever again. Why would I need to do that when I've got episodes 4, 5 and 6, Solo and Rogue One? Anyway, we're not here to discuss that nonsense. So Rogue One, yes, love Jyn Erso's character. I'm never overly impressed with Mads Mikkelsen. I don't think he's that good an actor. I don't particularly like him I've not seen him in that much stuff, but I thought he was overacting in it. And the dude who played Krennic, though, whoever that dude's name is.
Oh yeah. He's very good. I can't remember his name. Ben Mendelsohn. Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
Apart from in that stupid Ready Player One movie where he's junk along with the rest of the movie. But he was really good in this.
He was in see Captain Marvel as well as a what they called the Skrulls.
Is he? I don't think I've seen Captain Marvel.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
No interest. But so good to see Vader doing good stuff there.
Oh yeah, I mean, sort of because when we saw him in A New Hope and whatnot, he was the action sequences that he was in there. He was an old almost an old man and kind of quite decrepit almost, and I guess probably because of the limits of the technology and fight choreography at the time that you never really saw him let loose in the original trilogy. Yes. So this is the moment of all of the Star Wars films where actually you do see Darth Vader properly, being let off the leash and really going full ball against the rebel scum.
That whole Scarif stuff was really cool. You had great, it evokes the best bits of things like Endor battle, where you've got the ground stuff going on, you've got the big sky battle, then you've got the Luke, Vader and Emperor stuff. You kind of cuts between those three. Here you've got the really cool ground battle going on. You've got really nice dogfighting up in the space, and then you've got the Krennic Jyn Cassian thing going on. So it almost mirrors that.
I hadn't thought about that before. That's a really good point.
Really nice AT-ATs and everything going on. Really enjoyed that stuff. Forrest Whitaker, hams it up a little bit too much. Saw
does a
Gerrera, but I'll give that a pass. That's fine. I love Whittaker, but he's maybe going over the edge a little bit, but that's really cool. The scenes where they go into Jeddah, just kind of street level, grimy back alleys and stuff, and these troops patrolling really good. When you see all these scenic, there's like fallen Jedi almost, isn't there, made out of the statues that have fallen over.
And it really feels like the Emperor are really a kind of like an occupying force of that city, and you've kind of got that insurgency against them, where they're being kind of ambushed in the tank. Lovely little sequence, and getting introduced to. You're going to have to help me with the names. Chirrut and. Oh, is that the time up? Okay.
Yes, Chirrut and whoever the other guy was. The I'm one with the Force, and the Force is one with me, or whatever.
Yeah.
That brings me on to my only other last thing to say. My only other thing, which I think they pushed too far, was there's way too many heroic, lingering death scenes. Because obviously everyone dies in this movie, pretty much, all the good guys, but every one of them gets like a 30-second music montage, not montage, but music piece of them dying heroically, and it was just a little bit too much. But I gave it 4.5, so
But also
quick shout out to your brother who was an X-wing pilot in it.
He was, yeah.
Yes,
shout out to Pete, the X-wing pilot in Rogue One.
Listen, we'll close out the show with your responses to a question we asked, and you've got something to say, I think.
Okay, yeah. So we asked you a question. You must answer us now before we bring out the goons with the rubber hoses and the brainwave scanner.
Oh, jeepers, don't get the brainwave scanner out again. What did we ask them? I forgot already. No, the week before we asked them about what people's partners thought, and now it was kids, is that right?
That's right. So all of the little kids in your lives, your children, your nephews, your neighbours, what do they make of your hobbies? Are they into it? Do they are they completely cold to it? Do you try and keep all of your mint toys away from them, or do you just throw it open for them to let loose and destroy them? So yeah, some good discussion there from the people on the socials. So over on the Insta, we had G.I. Joe Black Wolf. He's saying 90% of my Joes are for playing with. They aren't allowed to open my mint on card Tiger Force Outback, but they can throw sneak peek as far as they want. I like that attitude. Let's play with those toys and sort of be damned as to what happens to them. So there was Argor76. He said he utilizes his love of collecting in everyday life, and he talked about using G.I. Joe as part of his student teaching to try and bring his lessons to life. Nice. Hillbilly Harper's doesn't hide it with the kids in his life, and he's got a Havoc for his 5-year-old cousin so that he wouldn't go after his own one. Good there man. We go, sort of displacement, like it. Yep. Take this one, leave my mint one alone. We've got Segovia Photography, who's just said, I'll start again. I don't let kids in my house. Okay, so that's another end of the spectrum there. So one way to go. We're not going to judge.
Yep.
Over on Facebook, we had some fun responses as well. We had Michael, who said that his 8-year-old loves it and he joins in with customizing the figures. So yeah, great bit of creativity there.
Good stuff.
Jim Godfrey, our favourite straight shooter, says, I get the piss ripped out of me by my 6-year-old for having dollies. Kids have an innate sense of truth.
Yep. True.
And Sean over there says, my kids, for the most part, could not care less about my collecting. Well, can't have everything, can we? So,
yep.
What about you, Chief? I know that most of the stuff is sort of hidden away up in the loft, but some of it does bleed through down into the main house. So what does Evelyn think of your hobbies and particularly the toy collecting?
I don't think she knows the extent of the action figures, because that is only a recent, 5-6 weeks in. I'm into now collecting action figures. But I guess I have had a lot of Lego over the years, and I've built Lego, a lot of Technic Lego, and I've built a lot of that downstairs at the dining room table, and she's come over and helped out every now and again. And actually, we built last week. We got out a Lego Creator. We built a squid, I think it was, or a shark. So she likes to help out with that. but she's not overly into Lego. But if I'm building stuff, she'll come along and help out, but she never really opts to play with that herself. I'm trying to think. Skill Electric, like you said, is up in the loft. When she has come up and had a go, she's very good at it, in fact. So I had another kid up here, but Dave came up. Dave Faceman, friend of the show, came up, and he's no good because, like most people, he just wants to press that trigger down as fast as he can. He comes off on every corner and moans about having to get up. And I was like, yeah, but you're in control. Don't go so fast, you won't come off. But her control was brilliant. I gave her a lesson once around the track, and then from then on she was like slowing down on corners and stuff, so she was good. But again, not much interest in coming back up to play. So I don't think, I suppose when I paint miniatures, she wants to be painting pictures with me, but doesn't really have any interest in painting small miniatures. So she enjoys some of the stuff I do, but it's not really fully shared. What about your boys?
I saw that she got stuck in with a diorama wall after your attempt as well.
Well, you're right. Actually, I will post pictures of her. When I started making dioramas, she wanted to do one, so she posed her My Little Ponies in front of some diorama wall she made. So I'll post pictures up. Actually, good shout. What about your boys?
So they like it. I've sort of tried to encourage it and sort of share my enthusiasm with it. But for the last little while, basically all of the toys that I've have pretty much been there for playing with and just trying to be a little bit zen about, once I've handed it over to them, it's theirs. If they lose stuff, if they break stuff, that's okay. That it's their toys. Don't worry about it. They've got their own styles, and Thomas particularly, who's just turned 9 now, is super into it, and he's sort of really enjoying playing with the Joes, the 6-inch ones and the 3 3/4 ones. Really getting lost in imaginative play, and it's lovely to see. And when I have sort of gone down the rabbit hole a little bit of buying some new stuff, and he has been sort of seeing that and sort of salivating over it, sort of going, can I have that one to play with? Right. and I was like, oh well, I kind of got these ones to stick on my bookshelf and look nice and not lose the pieces.
So do they spend their own money on toys?
Not really so much. It's mostly stuff that either is birthdays and Christmases, or just stuff that is given as kind of rewards for doing well at school or something like that, or just me being nice.
Yeah. Good stuff. The question that we are posing to you, our loyal listeners, for next week is: do you make a habit, or have you ever made any impulse purchases? So we've got our collecting of comics, toys, video games, whatever it is, and most people are fairly sensible, and they'll either budget or they'll know what they want to purchase. But are there any things that really stick out as full-on impulse purchases that you either regret buying afterwards, or you are happy that you made that impulse purchase? I was about to bid 150 quid on a hydrofoil a minute ago, so that would have been an impulse purchase, but I didn't in the end. But impulse purchases, good or bad, let us know, and we will read out the best ones next week. So it's been a fun week, been a good episode as always. You can catch us in the usual places. That's Talking_Joe on Twitter, Talking Joe Comics on Instagram, talkingjoecomics@gmail.com, and Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast, on Facebook. We had a new person join today. In fact, apologies, I forgot already the name of that person, but welcome aboard, sir or gal, whoever you might be, joining the fun discussion over on the Facebook group. But with all that said and done, we will catch you down the road.
Because we've been Talking Joe, and we're all out of Joes.
Laters.